I enjoyed watching Skylar Thompson get the opportunity to be QB1 for the day. I really enjoyed it. But how much are we going to see actual QB1, if at all, in the preseason? Oh, it is. It is. The Donno drop here on a Monday. Hope everyone had an awesome weekend, man. And it was a weekend full of football, a whole lot of preseason football. I'm curious because I know for obvious reasons we have mostly Dolphin fans who are watching this and who are going to be watching this. How much preseason do you watch outside of the Miami Dolphins? I watched very little. I'm going to be watching a lot more this coming week, starting Thursday night through the weekend, because starters around the league are to be playing a lot more. Most teams are now treating the second preseason game as the dress rehearsal. But as far as this last weekend went, I caught a little bit of the Jets game, especially seeing that injury scare that Zach Wilson had, which looked a lot worse than it turned out to be. Turns out to only be a 2 to 4 week thing. A lot of people thought it was a torn ACL. Obviously, I'm not a Jets fan, but I do not wish injury on anyone. I'm not that type of fan. So I'm glad that he's all right and that I think they said it was a PCL, not an ACL. So he's only going to miss a little bit of time. But, I watched the Dolphins game from start to finish, their 26-24 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. Now, had I not been on the clock working, I don't think I actually would have watched all 4 quarters of it, but I was working on the WQAM broadcast on the Dolphins radio network. I usually just do post-game, which is what I'm going to be doing throughout the year. But first couple weeks of preseason, I'm working pregame as well. So pregame, post-game, I had to watch it wire to wire. And I got to tell you, man, despite the fact that the Dolphins sat so many, right? Most of the starting defensive players, the vast majority of the starting players on offense, with Mike Gesicki being a notable exception to that, who did play a little bit in this one. But no Tua, no Chase Edmonds, no Raheem Mostert, no Tyreek Hill, no Jalen Waddle, no Teron Armstead, no Connor Williams. So the Dolphins, not even Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater didn't even play at quarterback, which I was a little bit surprised by. But honestly, when it comes to just pure entertainment value, I always enjoy in the first and last preseason game because I'm enough of a football nerd that I like to see deep down the roster. I enjoy the storylines of who's fighting to make the 53, who's fighting for a better spot on the depth chart. So, listen, I'm not going to say I prefer it over the regular season because I'm not that drunk, at least not yet. Maybe later on today, talk to me in a few hours. But, I actually do enjoy some of the roster battles. And when it comes to the first preseason game, I just enjoy football being back. But, man, did I enjoy Skylar Thompson. And I'm not doing any trolling today, okay? This is not I didn't wake up feeling dangerous where, because some mornings I wake up and I'm like, man, how can I push the buttons of the Tua stands today? So don't take it a direction I'm not taking it to. Skylar Thompson is not quarterback one, but I think the Dolphins have something there when it comes to a rookie 7th round quarterback out of Kansas State, where his trouble at Kansas State was just staying healthy. It's why he was a 7th round pick. He looks the part to me. Like, this guy can be a serviceable backup quarterback, maybe even better in this league. Like, I think the Dolphins have something there, and I hope they can find a way to hold on to this guy, stash him on your practice squad without seeing him get poached. Is there even a possibility that the Dolphins are going to have 3 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster? That's not something that's commonly done anymore, because Skylar Thompson, who was playing through an awful sunburn. I don't know if Tua would have been able to play through a terrible sunburn like the one that Skylar Thompson had, because he looked like a lobster. But no, he made some plays with his legs, made a lot of good throws. Some of the throws were maybe a little bit behind where Tua would have put him. But as far as watching, a third string quarterback goes, I really enjoyed what I saw. And then, I kind of like the fact that, the game was so close at the end. It gave first-time head coach Mike McDaniel, an opportunity to kind of flex his, intellectual muscles late game situation. He ices the kicker. I had a stupid tweet that everyone, and thank you guys, by the way, for sharing my dumb tweets and for taking me way too seriously. So right as Mike McDaniel was calling the timeout to ice Jose Borregales, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker from the U, former Lou Groza winner, when Mike McDaniel called the timeout to ice him, I was a little bit annoyed because I was working the post game and I just wanted the game to be over so I could do a couple of hours post game and go to freaking bed. But B, I tweeted out, do not even waste your time icing Jose Borregales. The kid cannot miss. And then what does he do? He doinks it. And then, everyone's like tagging me on cold takes exposed. Like, do you think I care? I'm just glad I'm getting some impressions out there. But I like the fact that it gave Mike McDaniel, first-time head coach, an opportunity to run through some situations, a tight game that literally came down to the last play. So as far as first preseason game goes, for the most part, the Dolphins met their objectives with a very notable exception. Because anytime you go into a preseason game, my number one objective always is and will always be get everyone out of the game healthy. And unfortunately, not that this is anyone's fault or in anyone's control, you lose Trill Williams to a serious injury, the young corner. So that, football's a dangerous game. It's a contact sport. And that's the reason why you bench so many players so often in preseason, because what happened to Trill could theoretically have happened to any of the starters if these guys had played. So it's unfortunate. It's bad luck. You just chalk it down to these things happen in football. But that was, I thought, the only major area. The Dolphins didn't run the football very well. That was another thing. But, when you don't have your full starting offensive line or your top running backs in the game, you kind of have to grade that one on the curve. And, your defense looked good at times. They weren't going up against Tom Brady, who's just taken some Tom time. He's taking a little time off. But all right, let's bring in our featured guest of the day. You know him, you love him. This man does an awesome job, and I love how he's repping Prize Picks, one of the great sponsors here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Alf is with us, Alfredo Arteaga from 3 Yards Per Carry. My God, you've head to toe. This guy is Prize Pick. We need to get you some better edge gear as well, so you can like alternate weeks. But how you doing, Alf?
I'm doing great, and I may or may not have a tattoo of Prize Picks as well, too. So, but I'm not going to show that one on the air here.
I love it. All right, so first and foremost, I just mentioned the one objective the Dolphins didn't accomplish, and that's getting everyone out of the game healthy. And I see like the Dolphins have been bringing in some corners for workouts. Mackenzie Alexander, Raleigh, is it Tejada or Tashada? There's an X in there. I don't know what to do with that. So they brought in some corners. They lose Trill Williams to injury. Alfredo, how much will he be missed?
He'll be missed because Trill Williams afforded them the luxury of saying, not only are we deep, but we're deep beyond our depth. Like, we have more than depth. Now they're just merely deep. Like, now you kind of want to get that little cushion because you are an injury away from having questions. Or, as I like to call it, we're an injury away from having Noah Benogany playing. So it's one of those two things, right? So yeah, losing Trill Williams hurts. First of all, he's a core special teams player. He's a good special teams player. You could replace those. Like, you could go out there and mine the waiver wire and find a good special teams player. That's not hard to find. But Trill Williams was coming on to his own as a cover corner, especially on the outside, which kind of gave them a nice little cushion, because it gave them options. Because first option I always believe was going to be Nick. Like, let's say if something happened to Byron Jones or, God forbid, Xavier Howard, my first reaction would always be, okay, that means that Nick Needham is now going to start earning his money on the outside, and Javon Holland's going to be in the slot where he was very, very good in Oregon and good as a rookie in spots as well. So, that was option number one. Option number two was just plugging in Trill Williams and not losing a beat because he was playing very well. So I understand what they're doing. I understand that they're gonna look at the free agent list and say, okay, any of these guys actually makes us better. If perfect world, Noah Benogany, the light goes on, and we don't need to go out in the waiver wire to get anything else. I do think that they're going to have to, but they have
It
other
doesn't
guys
seem to
also.
be happening, right? I mean, you've
Yeah,
been out there a lot more than I have, but Igbenogany he's been exposed, right, throughout camp, and he had a blown coverage in the game as well. It's not been good.
yeah, it's and you just don't get it, right? Because there's nothing wrong with him physically. He's fast, big, strong, good tackler when he gets into space to tackle. But it's either a technique thing or not knowing coverages or how to play them. But yeah, I think that they've decided. You know what? It's obvious by the actions of today. They decided, you know what? We like our cushion. We're going to keep creating this cushion. But I would also tell Dolphin fans, look, on the roster, there's a guy called Kader Kohu, who the team really, really likes. He was injured this past week. He got injured on Thursday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the joint practice. It was nothing serious. He just tweaked something and left practice early. I like to see him play this week, and maybe they found something there because he affords them a little bit more cushion as well.
I love it. Alfredo Arteaga from 3 yards per carry is with us. Skylar Thompson was the headline maker, on Saturday night. He looked really good as a 7th rounder, and on paper a 3rd string quarterback. So, what happens? Are the Dolphins going to be able to stash this guy on the practice squad without seeing him get poached? Because I think the secret is out now. Or is there even a chance they might carry 3?
I think they're going to be forced to carry 3, and they might have tipped their hand by just using a draft pick on him.
Yeah.
Because if he was a guy that they said, you know what, this is a guy that we could sneak on. Let's go make him an offer. I think that in free agency, I think that they kind of knew that there was many teams that were on to Skylar Thompson as a UDFA, and they said, you know what, we're not going to even bother with a bidding war and having to guarantee him all kinds of money to get him as a UDFA. We're just going to use a 7th round draft pick,
right?
Which we're not even going to bother with it. Now he's our property. We got Skylar Thompson here. By doing that, I think they've telegraphed. Now, had he been absolutely horrible on Saturday and been terrible, then they might just cut him. But now it looks like they're probably going to have to roster the guy because
didn't they learn a bit of a lesson with Reed Sinnett? I think Skylar Thompson could be even better, but they waived and then they tried to claim Reed Sinnett for the practice squad. He got poached. Absolutely.
And that happened to them last year. And actually, Reed Sinnett is actually playing really well this year in the preseason and having another great camp. And, I think that the method to the madness here is if you could find a really competent backup quarterback at this price point, man, you think about what you get to save. You get to save yourself the $8 million you're paying Teddy Bridgewater next year.
It's true.
And you could use that $8 million on a pretty good player. You could use them on a pretty good tackle if you need one. You could get a top end linebacker for $8 million a year. So I think that they've telegraphed what they're going to do, and I'd be shocked if they expose them. And if they expose them and he gets poached and he becomes a good backup somewhere else at that price point, then that's a screw up, really.
I want to make sure I'm getting this right because I'm Dougie Fresh. I'm trusting you, bro. I'm trusting you that you're bringing me proper information here into the live chat. He says the Dolphins have just signed Mackenzie Alexander. I did mention with Alf at the top that the Dolphins worked him out. We started out this conversation on the Trill Williams injury. He tore his ACL in the game Saturday. So Mackenzie Alexander, who's a former 2nd-round pick, supposedly, is now a Miami Dolphin. Well, what do you think he's going to add to this group, Alf?
Well, he has speed. He's a good press corner. So they just filled up their CB4 cushion again. So if he sticks, maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe that's why he was available, right?
Yeah.
But if he sticks, then they just redid. They refilled their little cushion, which they seem to be enjoying at cornerback, and which they probably need if Noah Benogany is really not going to be that good. So, this is a good signing. That they were obviously going to be out there, and I think this is a vote of confidence for for really Mackenzie Alexander, but it's they're putting on notice everybody else that's on that roster, especially at cornerback. I think they put like Noah Benogany has to be looking at the news today and saying, "Whoa, you didn't just elevate me. You had to go sign a former second-round pick." Okay.
Is he going to start complaining on Twitter like Preston Williams?
I hope not. I hope not, because he's a year away from just being sitting around waiting for that fifth-year option to be picked up, and it never comes. So it's a good signing. I love to see him play this weekend. I'm going to see him at camp because I'm going to be at camp all week.
Awesome.
So it'll be interesting to see. He's a guy who's performed before, so. They went the vet route. They didn't go the internal route, which again, Noah Benogany, you're on notice now.
No doubt. So all right, and I put this in the title of the episode, so we might as well talk about it. Tua did not take a single snap in the first preseason game. I was fine with that. I was expecting that. But I think it's a bigger question for this week at home against the Raiders, Alfredo, because this is the quote-unquote dress rehearsal. At least most teams are treating the second preseason game as the dress rehearsal. We always know, though, there's an injury risk. I mean, look at the scare that the Jets just had with Zach Wilson, who's going to miss a little time, not going to miss a whole lot of time. So what do you think happens this Saturday night, Alf? Dolphins and Raiders, 7 o'clock at home. Do you think Tua plays? I don't think he'll play for very long, if so, but do you think he suits up or not?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I'd say, set up, 2 or 3 series with all the starters, play them, and then have the second team play the rest of the game, because that second team is going to need work, because that's your depth, right?
Right.
So leave that third game for the guys that are the bottom end of the roster. Leave that last game and the last week of practice against the Eagles to see who makes like the bottom 5 to 6 players on your roster, that last tackle, that last guard, that last defensive tackle, that last linebacker that's going to play special teams. Leave that for the last game. But this week, I think you're going to see a lot of contributors this year. And I say throughout the game. I would say maybe Tua plays the first quarter and plays like 3 series, and then Teddy Bridgewater plays the rest of the game. Something like that. And then a sprinkle of running backs that should play this year.
I'm only turning the game on for Skylar time. Whenever I'm just going to wait on Twitter. As soon as they sub in Skylar Thompson, that's when I put the game on. Then it's go time.
Well, I would say Skylar Thompson is going to start the third game and then finish it, right? Like, he should start and finish the third game. So, this should be the week where you're going to see a lot of the guys that were brought in here to compete and to contribute. I think this is the week that you see them go a little longer. I would expect no information on this, but I would expect first and second team play the entire game.
I love it. Sky time. Trevor from the 203 says, I'm going to get, if there could be two at time t-shirts, I want Sky time t-shirts just to troll everybody. Like,
or Skylar's the limit t-shirts.
At one point, I can't even remember what I tweeted now, because my trolling, like, sometimes I don't even put a lot of effort to it anymore. But I tweeted something about Skylar Thompson QB1, and just like such low hanging fruit. But Alf, it always works. Like, if I even know sometimes, like, man, this is just so bad, it's like shameless. But if I tweet anything nice about another quarterback on the Dolphins roster, like if I had a bunch of tweets in draft for if Teddy Bridgewater had played in the game. And I just knew if I tweet something nice about another quarterback, the Tua stands are just going to get angry just for no reason. And it's like, it's too easy. Like, it should be like trolling Tua should almost be illegal, because it's too easy to get engagements. It's not even fair.
Yeah, I think the problem is that some of the Tua haters actually did take to Twitter and started talking Skylar Thompson up as a QB1.
That's true. No, it's true. Yeah, and that's the other thing. On Twitter, people can't tell when I'm joking or serious. And I think part of the problem is, since I have the verified check mark, I think that some people know that this is not the case, but some people just think, like, if a guy has the check mark, that means they cannot be sarcastic. Like, it's not allowed. Like, you have to be like the Associated Press. Like, you can only tweet serious thoughts. So, like, people just don't know when I'm trolling.
Yeah, no, and I love the day after or even the night of a preseason game, namely the first preseason game, to watch all the overreactions. There was some tweets, and there was one that I thought, well, okay, this is one of the best troll tweets I've ever seen because one of the beat writers, actually it was Omar Kelly, was pointing out that Channing Tindall didn't make one play somewhere, and there was one tweet under Omar that said, "Great, now we have another bust, another wasted pick," and I was thinking, okay, that's a high level troll job. But I searched this person's history on Twitter, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think this guy actually believes this.
Really?
So yeah. So of course, moral of the story is that when the game was over, Pro Football Focus named Channing Tindall the best Dolphin of the day.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he had
okay.
he had the highest rating, at least on defense. He had the highest
Yeah.
grade of all our defenders. And if you dig into the game, he actually played all right.
Yeah.
So
I thought so too.
On OnlyFins, me and Chris went back and forth on whether Austin Jackson was absolutely horrific or he was just average in the game. And it's one or the other. We kept he wasn't bad by any stretch, in my opinion. I thought he was just average, and average is a step up, and it's arrow up if he's just going to be average.
By the way, I want you to tell people about OnlyFins because it's blowing up. I've got a little story for you. OnlyFins is taking over. So within like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, I was interviewing somebody. It wasn't like Alf and I are live right now. I was interviewing somebody on a taped interview, and on a platform similar to this, and I keep hearing these notifications like going off on their computer, and I had to stop like 3 minutes in. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but can we start over? Can you turn those notifications off? Because it's like, it's very distracting. And then, a minute, like he's turning off, and a minute later he goes, oh, I think these guys. It's the OnlyFins chat was the notifications. I'm like, wow. This isn't even someone who covers the NFL. He covers college football, and he's an OnlyFins member.
Yeah, on OnlyFins, all you got to do is go to our Twitter page at 3 yards per carry, and it's at the top. It's the pinned tweet. OnlyFins is a Discord server where we have a chat, and we have a private chat between just us three on 3 yards per carry, where we go back and forth. And today we were analyzing if Austin Jackson was actually good or bad in that game against the Tampa Bay Bucks.
What was the verdict?
The verdict was like to be continued on tonight's podcast, I think.
Okay.
Because I came away thinking, this is average and on the way up, and Chris was like, this was just like not that great, So we had still shots, we had video, it was an hour wasted, But hey, you got your $3 worth for $3 a month. You can't you can't ask for more than a complete discussion on whether your right tackle was actually good or not in that game. But yeah, $3 a month, and you get to speak with like-minded Dolphin fans, and you get to listen in on basically what we talk about all day. So yeah, go to our pinned tweet on the 3 yards per carry Twitter page, and it'll give you all the information you need to get on there.
Just make sure Alf clearly remembered, silence those notifications when you're talking with Donno on YouTube, because you definitely get your $3 worth, because every 5 seconds there was a ping going off on that thing. Well, OnlyFins is absolutely lit. Alfredo Arteaga, before we let you run, any other major takeaways from Saturday? I didn't mention Lynn Bowden's name, who obviously looked good. He made some plays at wide receiver. And I know that, we didn't see a whole lot of important guys play, but any major takeaways from Saturday night?
Major takeaways, Solomon Kinley, 22 snaps. I thought 22 good snaps. I thought he played all right. He had a couple of stumbles. He had a couple of plays where you're like, this is not ideal what he's doing on the play. He was playing against, second and third teamers, so don't give him too much credit. But I thought he was. Yeah, and by the way, T from that's exactly why we named it OnlyFins. And
you made the logo looks like OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, the logo actually looks like OnlyFans too. But yeah, Solomon Kinley was all right for 22 snaps. I want to see more. I want to see that Solomon Kinley that we got for like 6 or 7 games as a rookie. Like, that guy looked like he was going to do something for us.
Yeah.
So that's one takeaway. On offense, that's pretty much it on offense. Liam Eichenberg was just okay. No big deal. Pankey played all right as a center. I want to see more. On defense, Darius Hodge. That guy had a good game. Elijah Campbell, of course, was everywhere, made 3 big plays.
Yeah.
Porter Gustin also looked all right. So, yeah, Verone McKinley is a guy who we got to keep watching because it's getting crowded at safety. And I don't know if they can carry them all. So I would say Elijah Campbell and Verone McKinley are pretty tight for one of those last safety spots. So on defense, there was more to like. Channing Tindall, of course, but Darius Hodge above all.
Yes, he made plays too. Yeah.
Darius Hodge above all, big plays. He got a hit on one of the turnovers. So I thought on defense, Benito Jones also looked all right on defense. So there was a lot to like. There was a lot to like in this game. What was not to like? Obviously, the running game was not good.
Yeah.
But I liked how
Sky Time. My guy Skylar Thompson was the leading rusher.
They kept using play action and it kept working on them. I guess the actions, and I'd said this before. I said this on 3 yards per carry, and Chris said, "Okay, I could kind of see where you're going with this," but I felt, and I made this prediction. I think that Tua Tagovailoa will lead the league in passer rating out of play action this year.
Okay.
And if you ask yourself, okay, isn't that something that usually elite quarterbacks do? It's a system thing. Jared Goff led the league in passer rating the year that they made the Super Bowl that year against the Patriots. But you kind of saw it in the game, right?
Yeah.
You notice how all those play action passes seem to keep working and for chunk plays. So I think play calling is huge on this team. And if there was one overall star, I think it was Mike McDaniel. Because his play calling, did it look like that team only ran the ball 11 times?
No, right? Not at all. I didn't without. I didn't have that stat memorized from the game. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, they seemed balanced, right?
Yeah, they did.
That was because the way the game was called. The way the game was called, they had enough run actions where it seemed like it was balanced, but it was not. So I want to see more, and it's going to be fun because now, they should be game planning for this game. Like this should look like a normal NFL game, at least 4.5. Yeah. So this should be fun. Really, this should be a lot of fun on Saturday.
I love it. Alfredo Arteaga. Make sure you check out 3 yards per carry, which is the most complete Dolphins podcast you needed in your life, at 3 yards per carry on Twitter. OnlyFins, which you're going to get your money's worth, probably more so than most OnlyFans pages. You get more of your money's worth from OnlyFins. Keep up the hard work, sir. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Donno.
Awesome stuff, man. Fantastic. Sky Time. I can't remember which one of you in the chat. Hold on. I got to really look to find it. It was Trevor. T for the 203 Sky Time. Put it on a t-shirt. By the way, huge thank you to Shake Money for the super chat. We appreciate the $5 donation. And Shake, I saw Shake Money's a big Gator fan. I still like him. I love him. I still like him even though he's a Gator fan. But I know he listens to Locked On Gators. I do Locked On Canes, which is part of the same network as Locked On Gators. And the guy who does Locked On Gators, Brandon Olson, one of the nicest dudes. Like, people like him and Shake Money are so nice. They make me almost want to hate the Gators a little bit less. Almost. And Brandon from Locked On Gators was telling me that Shake gave me a shout out, I think, in the chat for Locked On Gators. So everything comes full circle, Shake Money. Thank you so much. And it's always nice hearing from you. Always nice. Guys, you saw Alfredo Arteaga was wearing the awesome Prize Picks hat and Prize Picks t-shirt. There's a reason why he's so enthusiastic about Prize Picks, which I am as well, the official fantasy sports sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And bros, I hope you guys were listening to Dolphins pregame that I co-hosted with Kevin Rogers on 560 WQAM on Saturday, because we do a fantasy football segment on that show. And obviously preseason fantasy, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but I specifically said on Dolphins pregame on Saturday that if you're in a daily fantasy league, pick up Skylar Thompson, because I really thought Skylar Thompson was going to be a nice get. You can play daily fantasy in preseason. You can. And so hopefully some of you heard that and you were on Prize Picks and you played Skylar Thompson's overs. Prize Picks is awesome. It combines my love for parlays and my love for daily fantasy. It's you versus the numbers at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com or the Prize Picks mobile app. You simply select 2, 3, or 4 players and predict if they're going to go over or under their fantasy projections, and you win real money. 10 times your money for getting 4 predictions correct. Double your money for getting 2 predictions correct. I've made more money playing on Prize Picks than I have buying lottery tickets. I'm just throwing that out there. Better odds to win at prizepicks.com. And when you sign up at Prize Picks or Prize Picks mobile app, use our code 5, that's FIVE. Spell it out, FIVE, when you make your first deposit. And they're going to double your first deposit up to $100. So you deposit $100 like magic. There's $200 in your account, and check it out. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy simplified. And make sure you check out the new sports betting sponsor here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Now, they've been with me for almost a month. At what point are they no longer new? You know what? They're no longer new once all of you have tried it. Please try bettoredge.com, BETTOR edge.com. There are 2 things that I especially love about bettoredge.com. Number 1, no fees, no hidden fees. They're not taking any juice, right? You don't have to, for a 50-50 proposition, bet minus 110 or minus 115 and pay these fees to the casino, because at bettoredge.com, there is no casino. They make their money through ads on their website. There isn't a house. There isn't a big casino that owns them. Better Edge is peer-to-peer. And I think this is really catching on, and this is going to change the betting space. And Better Edge is fully legal in 45 states, including the state of Florida. So even though Florida has not fully embraced sports betting through the casinos, that's not legal yet. BetterEdge.com is in a different category. It is fully legal in the state of Florida. How this works is it's a social platform. You find the odds you want. If you want this weekend, let's say the Dolphins are, I haven't even looked at the number, but let's say hypothetically the Dolphins are favored by 2 points. If they're -2 this weekend, but you think the Dolphins are going to win big and you want Dolphins -7, you select that number and you find somebody else at the other side of it, and you're betting with that person. It's social platform, and you can win real money doing this. And you can see this scrolling below me, bettoredge.com/5 reasons. Use that referral link, and they're going to give you a $20 gift just for signing up with our referral link, BETTOR edge.com/5 reasons. They're going to give you $20 referral bonus just for signing up, guys. I'm telling you, bettoredge.com is changing the space. And also, since this is not an offshore book, this is a fully legal in Florida and 45 states operation. There's nothing shady about it. It's not like, when you sign up, you're not paying, some shell company in China, and it's easy to take your money out. This isn't an offshore site. So you guys should try it out. BetterEdge.com/5 reasons. All right, throw some shout out and get out of here. Oh, my guy Trevor uses it, so you should too. He's a Better Edge believer. Yeah, Marlins unders. I mean, even if it's like, if you can get Marlins under half a run, take it. You can win big money doing that. Oh, man. David, thank you so much for tuning in. See ya, concerned citizen. We appreciate you stopping by. Bless you and your family as well. Cap for life. Love it. And I will pass along the message that Alf should stay true to thyself. Everyone should take that advice. Alex M., thank you so much for tuning in. Would we be able to run it 40 times in a cold weather game in Buffalo? You mean like New England did? Wasn't that a thing for them? Was that against Buffalo last year? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know if how could we say? None of our top running backs played the other day. We didn't see Mostert or Chase Edmonds, and the top offensive linemen were out. So I hope so. Let's see. VLKV. Yeah, and we did see that. I think it was Dougie Fresh was the first person to let us know in the chat when it happened that the Dolphins did sign Mackenzie Alexander to fill the void left by Trill Williams, who unfortunately suffered a torn ACL. So hopefully the Mackenzie Alexander signings, good, fast press corner. Hopefully that works out for the Dolphins. Thank you again, Shake Money, for the $5 donation. We appreciate you. Let's see. Doug E. Fresh, I mentioned him already. He gets the full shout out there with the tweet. And Big Dan 305, good afternoon to you, sir. Good afternoon to Lewis Sung Sr., father and son duo, best since the Griffies, right? Lewis Sung Sr. and Jr., best since Ken Sr. and Jr. These guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, folks, we will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Not tomorrow, actually. I will be doing Locked On Canes tomorrow. We'll be doing Donno Drop again on Thursday. So we will talk to you again on another episode of the Donno Drop right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.